at the time, I wanted to go somewhere that would, that's cool, that would be aesthetically stimulating as far as design and fashion and just the city in general. And I wanted to go somewhere different outside of just Europe. So the only other place I could think of was.
Yo, today we're going to talk with Rashad Johnson, who's the founder of Tact Bespoke. And we're going to talk about something the everyday man should have an interest in, which is the best place for men's fashion, Italy or Japan. Rashad, returning guest in the building. How are you, man?
I'm well, man. I'm well. How about yourself?
I'm hanging in there.
Great.
So before we go into our topic, please tell us, so what do you do?
So I am a bespoke tailor based in the Washington, D.C. area. So I provide alterations as well as bespoke and semi-bespoke garments for my clients here as well as some abroad as well.
So let's get right into it. So we know each other. We've met each other in real life. You've been on the pod before, but I wanted to bring you back because, I really keep up with you on Instagram. I'm sure you could argue the same thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I DM you with hatred because you are, and the audience should know, you are an excellent roller skater.
Oh, excellent, man. I appreciate it. I just take the compliment.
Bro, you're an excellent roller skater. And I was only a fast roller skater.
Fair.
And anytime I see those, you're one of two people that I'm specifically jealous. You as a roller skater and my super who can whistle his behind off.
Right.
So I'm like, damn. So anytime I hear him or I see you, I just get upset. But beyond watching your skating prowess and making me sad and angry, you have had some wonderful journeys as recently as this summer, and overall, let's say within the past year to 2 years. You have been to, I would argue, two fashion capitals if we look at it from a countrywide standpoint.
Yeah, definitely.
You've been to Japan twice, and you've been to Italy once.
Yeah.
And clearly when we're talking about Japan, we're talking about Tokyo as a city.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about Italy, we're talking about Florence. I've been there. So
how'd you like it?
I thought it was cool, but here's the thing. When I went, I did not know anything about the event that you went to, which should remain a secret temporarily.
Okay.
So I just went because a friend of mine who's a native New Yorker, I've lost contact. If anyone knows Linda Curtis, who now lives in upstate New York, LC, I'm so sorry we lost contact. I miss you so much. You're such a good buddy. She lived where I grew up. She lived in the West Village at a building called the Vermeer on 14th and 7th. And our connection was we were in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program together, and we just hit it off. And we both had littles. And the point is, one summer she said, I am going to Lucca in Italy. And she was like, you got to come hang out. I said, well, if I do that sounds like a small town.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, it is. I was like, nah, I got to do a whole bunch of stuff before I get to you, girl. So my trip was to Italy, France, and England. And part of the Italy itinerary was Florence. But I had no idea. And the time I went, I'm almost positive, I was not at the fateful dates of the movement. Matter of fact, I looked into my old Let's Go Italy travel book.
Right.
Rest in peace, Let's Go. I'm going to do an episode about them one day, how they actually interacted with fashion. But the point is, I looked, and the event that should remain a secret for right now was in my book.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but it went because I wasn't there at the time. Also, I'm dating myself. The dates of that event were different than they are now.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I'm not even aware of that. So yeah. That's some time ago.
That's right.
College has always been the same. Wow. Okay, gotcha.
No, shut it. It's different back then. I took a photo. I think I'm going to try to incorporate it in our pod or something. But I took a photo of that page. I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah.
So, all right, choose your own adventure. What do you want to start with? Do you want to start with Japan or do you want to start with Italy?
So yes, let's start with Japan. Let's start with
Sure.
Tokyo.
So, you've been to Tokyo twice. The immediate question I have for you, Rashad, is what led you to go the first time?
The first time, this maybe it'll sound cliche or something, but it just seemed like a no-brainer to as like a destination to go. I will say this also: the first time was a family trip, about 20.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a family trip. So that also like traveling in general just comes from something taught from my mom. Just always wanted me to explore, just have different experiences. So that was part of it. And at the time, I wanted to go somewhere that would, that's cool, that would be aesthetically stimulating as far as design and fashion and just the city in general. And I wanted to go somewhere different outside of just Europe. So the only other place I could think of was Tokyo. So that was kind of it was kind of just like a knee jerk reaction, so to speak.
So, did you lead the charge of your family? Meaning, did you say, hey, fam, let's go to Tokyo? Is that how that happened?
Yeah, basically, she was like, "Let's take an international trip. Let's do an international trip." We had done like smaller Caribbean things before. Already kind of had the passport, and I was like, "Let's go to Tokyo." She's my mom and I, so she's just like, we're like this, you know what I mean? So she's kind of down with whatever, which I love, man. And that was kind of the number one decision. So we just started planning it out and made it happen.
So, I know you and your mama like this, excuse me, but I want to know how aligned you were in terms of itinerary.
It was actually, you know what?
Aha!
No, it actually went really well because a lot of the things I wanted to do, we did. Um, like the first time I went in 2017, of course, you have to do the shrines and all of that stuff just to like understand the culture because Tokyo, Japan in general, is just very rich in culture and formality and heritage. They're very prideful of that as well. And so we did a lot of that, which I wanted to do because I wanted to engulf myself in just history that's completely different than everything that I know or have learned about. In school, in elementary school, we learn about Europe. You know what I mean? We learn about America, and that's really it. We touch on world history, but it doesn't really go into depth. So it was cool to be able to go there and really just take everything in, and then also just do some fashion stuff. Go to some museums. I'm a big museum guy. We were just talking about that before we started, and so I'm big on museums. So we got to do that. Go to a lot of different stores, do some shopping. So it was a successful trip. It went well, and we went to
Okay.
multiple cities too. So I had fun with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get into the shopping.
Yeah. The shopping, man, is great, man. It's great. And that was another thing about Japan is I knew that their vintage market is like no joke. And I was aware of that before going there, and that was something that drew me to wanting to go there because I'm a big vintage guy, and a lot of my like design taste and influences come from vintage clothing. Just going through old digital archives that I can find. So being able to go to Tokyo, if you don't know, has an amazing plethora of Americana vintage clothing. Um, it's almost better than clothes you would find here in America at some vintage shops. So being able to go there and just see how they curate this different appreciation for Americana was great. So yeah, I got a lot of like just random stuff, man. But just like a lot of military vintage pieces, old workwear things like Carhartt and jackets and stuff like that. So it was fun, man. It was fun. I could go on and on.
Well, I'm going to have to force you to go on and on.
Yeah.
So, for this first trip, right?
Hmm.
Because eventually I want to try to make a comparison. So, on this first trip, how did you discover stores? Did you plan? Did you do research and go,
Yeah.
hey, these are the stores I want to go to? How organic was that experience? Meaning, did you sometimes just walk down the street and you saw something that caught your eye? I've read that for a lot of these stores, they're a little bit nondescript and they're upstairs, they're not on street level. So, can
Mhm.
you elaborate on that, please?
Definitely, especially as you go to different cities as well. So there were maybe about two I think I planned, and I can't really recall the names because the trip was so long ago. There were probably about two shops in Tokyo that I chose to go to specifically, and the same for records as well. We can talk about that too. But after that, Japan is definitely like Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, more so Tokyo and Osaka, are places where you can just walk down the street in certain neighborhoods and just run into stuff. And that's like the type of traveling I like to do. Like I like the spontaneity of it, the organic nature of it, and there was a lot of that. There's a lot of stores that I can't like. I would know them if I see them. I'm a very visual person. The names I cannot recall, but if I happen to be on that same block, I could be like, oh shoot, I found that Carhartt jacket there, and go back in there and find some more things. So more so of the latter of like just being organic about it and just running into different shops, mainly in Tokyo and Osaka. The second time I went this year, earlier this year, I was a lot more intentional about the research just because like TikTok has everything. Um, so I was able to find more neighborhoods because I don't think they were as documented in the blogs back in 2017. It was
Oh, so TikTok, can you talk about that in a
yeah,
little
like
bit greater
traveling
detail?
for me now is completely different now because everything's on the internet. Everybody wants to make a TikTok about it or real about it because it's like travel content is great virality, is a great niche community for it. So there's a lot of content creators talking about that subject matter wherever you may want to go in the world. Whereas, back when I was like, this is my early 20s, 2017, um, I just didn't have as many resources that I knew of at my fingertips to visit to find the types of things that I was looking for outside of like Tumblr would have like all the premier shops that you would want to go for streetwear and some of the vintage shops. But unless you were like really, really, really tapped in, maybe I could have did more research in forums. I probably could have done looking back at it. But yeah, a lot of it was organic because it was just different then. It's just a different time.
So on this second trip, to reiterate, you really relied on TikTok. You did a lot of searches based on that, and then you came up with a more detailed itinerary than the first trip. From what I also saw, correct me if I'm wrong, you went with one of your boys. You went with a buddy.
Yeah, for sure. I went with two of my boys, so
You went with two. Okay.
they're fashion guys too, so they were looking, finding things. So we really kind of we had stores and we had neighborhoods so that we could go to specific stores, of course, that we went to. Much longer list this time, which was great. And then also there's just certain neighborhoods that you can go to, like Shimoki in Tokyo. It's just like a vintage. It's like a whole city just filled with vintage stores.
Mm.
It's really a part of the city because there's a residential area as well. But like that, for example, in Tokyo, you can just go there and just find stuff. Of course, specific franchise thrift stores may be there, vintage stores may be there, but also there's things that people don't even talk about that you just walk down the block and be like, oh, that's for me. They might have old school Ralph Lauren or old school Supreme, you know what I mean? Like whatever you may be interested in, they'll have curated selections based on the stores there. So it's great for that as well. Definitely highly suggest try to do a little mixture of both.
So these purveyors, these retailers, they know what they have.
Sure.
Right, for sure.
For sure.
So my point is, particularly as a native New Yorker,
Hmm.
is there an ability to haggle?
So no, but in my opinion, I don't think you really need to. Like the prices are great. The yen right
Oh,
now,
they are great. Yeah. So let's talk about the prices overall, and
yeah,
let's talk about the exchange rate, please.
yes, definitely. So just in general, the price rate is going to be better in Japan. You know how thrifting is in New York, man. It is insane. They price gouge like crazy. Everything's more expensive in New York.
Yes.
And then just in the U.S. in general, everything's more expensive. Um, so the pricing is like great there. Like when you can just do the mental math in your head and you're just looking at prices like, okay, how much do they want for this? And then you do the math and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is half the price I was spending at home.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah, like no brainer, man.
All
So
right.
yeah,
Did not
prices are
realize that.
really, really, really good prices. And then also when we went, it was a great time for the U.S. to yen exchange rate, and it's gone down even significantly more because we went in March. I went with my friends in March, and then over the summer, the yen exchange rate began to weaken even more. So yeah, the prices are great right
And is there any significant language barrier when you're going to these cities, in these
now. Yeah,
stores specifically, of course?
yeah. There is a lot of a language barrier for sure. Um, I would say that they're pretty in the more popular shopping districts. You're definitely going to find bilingual sales reps and things like that that know a little bit of English or are fluent in English. Because again, English, they try to say it's an international language. I still suggest trying just to learn. I think it goes a long way learning basic phrasing and basic greetings. It just goes a long way. It makes the experience a lot more pleasant because they're like, okay, you're trying to engulf yourself in this country that you're in, and they appreciate that. But there definitely is a language barrier sometimes. They just don't know. But thankfully, Google Translate goes a very
Google Translate.
it
So
goes a long way.
let me know how you utilized it. I mean, it
Yeah,
probably sounds like a very obvious question.
yeah, it's obvious. But yeah, most of the time I would just do voice to text, or you just type a phrase and just show it to them on the phone. It's kind of funny, but yeah, it works, man. It works. Yeah. And they're very like again in Tokyo, they're just super pleasant, man. I really like. It's just a very easygoing city to be in. For it to be so big, it's huge, largest city in the world, I believe, or one of the largest. There's so many people, but you still at the same time feel very welcome. You don't feel too lost in the sauce. They obviously know you're a tourist, and for the most part, they're pretty chill about you, man. Pretty nice, so it works well.
How is the shopping experience from a cultural standpoint as an American? Like you're saying how, hey, they're chill but I've just heard like wonderful stories about the shopping experiences in Japan, which would blow America away. Were there any, specific stories, encounters that you had that you went, oh my gosh, this the customer service here is, amazing.
You know, yes, I definitely concur with that. Just the hospitality is great there. Um, there were a couple experiences I had where it wasn't really anything breathtaking. It was the details. They're just how they could really quickly like understand you as a person. Especially like, and I'm speaking within like just retail stores or shopping and clothing. Like they could look at your style, look at what you're looking at, and like quickly know like, okay, look, you need to see this piece. Especially like in the thrift stores. Um, and that like I appreciate it because that's just like that's great salesmanship, really. Because of course that brings more sales. So I appreciate that, and I just appreciate their attention to detail, like being able to like look at somebody you never met me before, but you see like I like this piece. I'm showing it to my friends, and you'll like go to the back of the store and grab some piece that I never would have looked at and be like, look, you need this. It's like, all right, now I gotta buy this. So it's so like I appreciate that. Like I think there's a phrase like the easiest person to sell is a salesman sometimes, and it's like I appreciate that. You know what I mean? So that would definitely be one of those examples for me. Like one of the thrift shops I went to in Shimokurazawa, um, it was one of those experiences. I'm a big Stussy fan from my streetwear days, and they just had all these cool old Stussy pieces and Ralph pieces, and he was just grabbing things that like it would have took me 30 minutes to find. I was in there like 5 minutes, and he grabbed it for me like that. So,
Wow.
yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, it sounds like this is a place I don't need to go to. I need nothing. I have
Budgeting is key, man. Budgeting is key.
I have lived vintage, so
Mhm.
including this shirt.
Yeah,
So
I've lived
yeah,
in it's hilarious. I just caught that. Yeah, no,
yeah,
I get that. Like some of the pieces you got, I just you lived them into vintage era now. Yeah.
yeah. Like it's just real talk, right? I've
Mhm.
been fortunate. I haven't changed drastically in size. I have changed, but not
Mhm.
drastically.
Yeah, that's the
So
goal, man.
yeah, someone's gonna have to pay me to go there.
Yeah.
Put
Hey, that can happen
Yeah, absolutely.
very easily.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm putting it out in the universe.
For
Yeah,
sure.
but I mean, but it just sounds clearly like an amazing experience. There was one video you had on IG. I can't remember the piece. It
Hmm.
might have been a Stussy piece. It might have been a Bape piece.
Hmm.
But you came into this spot and they were playing They were playing Rufus and Shaka.
Oh,
You let see? Why don't you talk about that?
ah, man, that's such a great show. By that day, it's crazy. That lady brings tears to my eyes almost. That shop was so well curated. This is another thing about like just it was the curation, the hospitality. Everybody's super nice, but the curation was really good. Like when they focused on a specific concept, like they would really get it, and I really appreciated that. So the curation is another thing to speak to outside of just like the service and the hospitality. But that shop specifically, man, she had just so much cool. Like I was done with my budget by that time. Everything, I just had to like stop. But yeah, she just had like some cool NERD like Letterman jackets, whole bunch of Babe stuff. What else did she have there? Like a lot of that '90s era streetwear stuff. You know what I mean?
My era, something.
Yeah, for sure. And it was just like just so dope to see all of that stuff in one place. And then the music she was playing, it was like B-side Shaka Khan. Like it wasn't like she was playing Populon, which like if you know you
Oh
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but otherwise like people don't really listen to that on the regular. So it was like, yeah, man, that was a great shot. I cannot remember the name of it, but when I'm walking down the street, I would know it from my mind.
Would you say that was your best shopping experience? This
I think
place that has no
that
name.
area, because that was in Shidokimazawa. They're known for like all the thrift stores. It's not a lot of classic sartorial menswear in that area, but just the vintage there is great. That was definitely one of the highlights of the trip for sure. That was a great day.
What was the worst experience you had shopping?
It's fun shopping or just in general.
In general, you can do both.
Probably say so. When we got there, our bags were delayed. That was probably the worst part of the trip. Landing there, the bags were delayed like a day. That was about it, man. Everything else went like really well, honestly. Even like there were a couple of days. I think it was like 1 or 2 days. It rained. I'll tell you a funny story. They have a lot of great speakeasies in Tokyo as well. And a friend of
I
mine,
saw.
yeah, a friend of mine, we found some on TikTok, and then also there was a friend of mine from high school who told me about a speakeasy that you're not gonna see on the internet at all. That his friend had opened up because my classmate was from Japan. So this was like a person he knew personally. And when he graduated, I think he went back to Japan when we graduated high school or college. He was back in Japan for a couple of years and met that friend at that time. So when I told him I was planning to take another trip, he was like, "Yeah, you got to go to my man's spot." So we were struggling to find this place. Then it started raining. It was drizzling, wasn't bad, but it was like raining, looking around, lost in another country.
Right.
It started off bad, but man, when we got there, again the curation, like it was a speakeasy, and he played vinyl the whole night. And again, it was me and my three boys. We're all black young guys in our 20s. When we walked in, the spot seats maybe like 10, 15. And it was a weekday, so nobody was really there. So there was a white couple that was there, and they were just chilling, like having, I don't know if they were dating, but it was a young lady and a young man. And the vibe of the music was different. I think he was playing like Steely Dan or something. Like, still like he was playing some heaters. But when we walked in, he started like switching it up. He started playing like Frank Ocean Blonde and Lauryn Hill Miseducation, the remix version of that album. Like he just started playing cuts. Like he was going in. Ozzy Brothers like going in crazy. So like that was another experience. Like yes, we took an L trying to get there. Thankfully we had jackets and everything, and it wasn't pouring. But like even the bad nights were good nights because they all kind of ended up going in a good direction. It was a great trip for sure.
Before we transition to another country, you briefly mentioned it, but I don't know if you actually encountered it from a shopping perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Any classic menswear experiences?
I wasn't able to find too many vintage focused sartorial spots. A lot of what I saw and ran into was like vintage workwear, which is like kind of in our sartorial bag a little bit. It's
Yeah,
kind of decent, but not too many. There, however, the retail, new ready to
yeah,
rip,
yeah, yeah.
fantastic, fantastic. they're at the wave where they're still like you can still walk in the store and shop the cloth. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, on the on the spool of the artist still, man. Like that's where they at with it. And just walking around, when you see the businessmen, they dress very just classic, navy blues, grays, um, stripes, solids, and it's like clean classic silhouettes. And it's still very tailored. It's not like they're dressing conservatively and it's sloppy. Like it's still very tailored. It's just a very nice, tasteful experience with their sartorial focused retail shops that I would just like go through and peruse and whatnot. I don't really shop too much unless it's vintage, but I definitely like the merchandising, layout, just how everything was designed. It was pleasing. I was satisfied. I wasn't disappointed.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, now we're on the plane and we're on to Italy.
Yeah. Italy,
So,
man. I
oh,
do
look
like
at you.
Florence.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's cheesing it if you're
Yeah.
just listening. He is.
It's official.
Man,
Yeah. Italy.
what happened in Italy? Like, what?
It's pity,
Man.
man. It's pity. You can't not
Okay,
enjoy
so, all
Italy.
right, so hold on. So let's make everything clear. So that was the thing I was holding back.
Yeah.
You led with it, but let's let all the people know who don't know. You went to Florence at the
Hmm.
time of a men's festival of shopping and retail and
Yeah.
wholesale that
Yeah.
happens every 6 months. It's called Pitti Uomo.
Hmm.
So that's why, ladies and gentlemen, he just went pity, pity. He wasn't sad.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
talking about where
Very
he went. He went to Pitti Uomo. So why don't
indeed.
you tell the audience what Pitti Uomo is, Rashad?
Yeah, Pitti Uomo, like you said, it's a trade show, and outside of just being a trade show, it's gained this um, viral, become viral for being known for like where a lot of surface dress men, specifically sartorially dressed men, come to visit and shop because it's a menswear trade show, but there is also like streetwear renders that show there. But a lot of it predominantly is like sartorially focused products, and a lot of it is Italian made sartorial products from accessories all the way up to suits and overcoats. And so, one, it's a great place to find products to be made. And also, it's a great place to network. It's a lot of just very sharp dressed people with common interests as I, being a tailor. A lot of tailors out there as well. So that was a bucket list trip for me. Bucket list trip. Long story short, it was a great experience.
What led you? I know it was on your bucket list, but what led you to do it this year? What led you to go? I want to go.
Yeah, this year really obviously there's a theme. This is just a year I really wanted to just take some trips, man. And honestly, that's the simplest way to put it. Um, just been having my head down with school and then just working as well, just developing the business. So this was a year where I felt comfortable to just attack those trips, man. Get those things done. Japan was something that I wanted to go back to when I left in 2017. As soon as I got home, I was like, I got to do that again, and I'm saying it again this time. So that'll be a place I'll go again. And Pity, for obvious reasons, me being a tailor, that's been a bucket list trip for years as well. So I was last year, 2023, rewinding a little bit. I was like, I really want to just get these things done. Kind of just seize the day, so to speak, um, and make it happen. So I'm grateful and blessed that I was able to do that.
So you officially went, meant meaning that you had a ticket to go into Pitti,
Right. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Versus the thousands of people just hanging out
Hmm. Outside.
on Dandy Row,
Yeah.
hoping that they will get a photo of them to be posted on someone's social media.
Correct. Yeah, and you make a good point because maybe as I was, learning to become a tailor, still in design school, I think at that time early 2000s and the 2010s, a lot of those photos that we were seeing that I didn't know this until recently, um, were just photos of taking people outside of the trade show. Which,
Right.
yeah, you know, because you got skin in the game. But I didn't know that. Yeah, a lot of those older pictures from like Pitti Uomo 90 and all that kind of time frame, um, they weren't even inside, which like blew my mind. Because it's like, geez, these people are really like going out all the way out there, and a lot of the people that you see there already either live in Europe or Asia, so the flight is just a lot cheaper for them. But I'm like, geez, they really take this seriously just to go to Florence, just to be photographed. It's like mind-boggling.
So to me, I believe this was a dual purpose trip. Bucket list checked to go to the trade show.
Hmm.
But knowing who you are, you might have had a list.
Yeah, if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go.
Right.
No,
So
definitely. Yeah, it was dual. Definitely a dual purpose trip.
so you had some stores
Hmm.
that you researched.
Yeah, a couple.
So so why don't we talk about that experience?
Yeah, yeah. So the shops, I like the shops in Italy as well. I'm still, be honest, man. Tokyo has my heart for the time being, shopping wise. But yeah, I enjoyed Italy a lot for the shopping, as well as more so not so much vintage, because in the research I saw, it had some vintage shops. I wasn't impressed, in my own personal opinion. So I wasn't super enticed to do the vintage shopping in Italy too much, um, just because I feel like Italy and France, from what I've seen in my research, they are known for having vintage consignment and things like that, just because of like where they are, like old family, old money. It's a lot of things getting passed down, a lot of like really cool, unique things. But I don't know. I think just for me, Tokyo and Japan have a different charm of products and curation that I like more. So I wasn't really too pressed, so to speak.
You weren't feeling it.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling it, man. I wasn't too pressed to go. So I didn't do that too much. I think I went into like one shop. Outside of that, I really just took in fashion from more so like high fashion standpoint, just looking at the new collections. Like I really like Brunello Cucinelli. So just looking at them, looking at Zegna, just looking at like the big name brands, just looking at their new products, looking at quality, where things are going with their product lines, things like that. So it was the fashion guy in me and the business aspect of my brain kind of working at the same time with the shopping. So that was cool. And also to see because they're stocking those stores completely differently than how they're stocking them in America. So that was something I wanted to take note of as well.
In what way do they stock them differently there
I mean,
versus here?
we're in Italy, so this is like the blueprint of food supply. So Americans, more or less of certain taste levels, they want to dress like that food supply modern. That's like the modern sartorial style for most people, right?
Yeah.
For inspiration. So I that was another reason why I wanted to shop there because I wanted just to see like on a high level and low level what types of products they have here, what types of materials they use. And it's interesting and I love that I was able to still see a lot of linens because it gets super hot in Italy. And I'm a big
Yeah.
proponent of linen to my clients here in the States because I think it's just a very technically functional cloth, um, whether it be, an Italian linen or like an Irish, UK linen.
Yep.
Um, so it was great to just kind of just be able to walk in the store and see that because you can't really see true 100% quality linen here in the States. At least I don't. So it was a lot more about the construction because they do a lot of deconstruction, and then also the materials that they were using in the products that just caught my eye that I was impressed with, and that was kind of what I was looking for. So it kind of confirmed my bias. So that was cool.
Did you have an opportunity or did you make an opportunity to go to local indigenous brands, particularly for classic menswear,
So
since you totally dismissed
yeah, I
vintage
didn't. I'm
there?
gonna do that next time. I definitely am gonna do that next time because there's some shops like specific tailor shops that I want to go to. Um, I just didn't make the time. Honestly, I was eating too much, and pity took up a lot of my time during the day. Because pity is definitely like because it's not only the trade show, it's the events and the networking that you can do throughout the day in that surrounding neighborhood in Florence. That really just takes up a little bit. And the more, like, the longer you're there, like, first day, I didn't have too many networks there because it was my first time going. But as you
Right.
go there and network there, like, there's just so much going on throughout the day that I honestly didn't really get much time to shop. I feel like as I go more, I'll probably have more time to kind of like explore. Because as I was talking to just other patrons that have been there before, they're like, as you come back more, if I can make it multiple times, you'll it's kind of the same thing. You see the same people,
Sure.
which is has its wins and its minuses. So I think like I'm optimistic I'll be able to do that more in the future. So hopefully you can have me back and we can get into that more because the tailors there have great heritage stories that I'm sure I could learn a lot from. So that would be great to be able to bring those experiences back and share that. And maybe just apply it here. I'm big on travel, being able to inform the future, taking things from other places, bringing them back, putting our own spin on it. So I'm looking forward to those opportunities.
So, just for clarity,
Yeah,
I'm giving you 3 strikes
you give me
on
three
this.
strikes.
Yeah, I'm going to explain.
Okay.
So, you didn't do any store line, department store line
Okay.
in Florence.
Okay.
Strike one.
Strike one. All right.
You acknowledge you didn't get to go to any of the local classic menswear, tailors,
Yeah,
suiting.
that one hurts me because I wanted to connect with a friend, but yeah, that one hurts. That strike two hurts. That one
Strike
hurts.
two.
Trust me, that one hurts.
And here comes the third.
What's that one?
You didn't go to the leather market
Oh no,
at
that
Santa.
we
Huh?
did that one.
Oh, okay.
That
Well,
one
you
we
didn't
did.
say it, bro. All right.
Yeah, that one we did.
He
No,
lays down a bunt. He sprints. He's safe at first. He's safe at first.
no, that one we did, man.
Oreos.
Yeah, the leather in Italy is definitely next level again.
Okay, well, come on, Sammy the Clam. Break
Yeah,
it down.
my fault, man. You got pride out of me. No, but yeah, the leather in Italy, even just outside of Florence. But yeah, we went to Santa Maria, went to the leather school. Um, where else was I
Did
at?
you also do, and I'm dating myself
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I've obviously been to Florence. So so Santa Maria, like you said, that's the school at the church.
hmm
Boom. But then also right there at the piazza,
hmm
they have an outdoor shopping, like leather shopping mart deal.
Yes, yeah, I
Yeah.
went there. Honestly, by the time I got there, I had already got this amazing. It's actually in my office here. Amazing duffel bag, and that's really all I wanted. So I just looked around. They still have that market there, though. Still have
Market
the market
was,
there. Actually,
yeah.
I did grab something small, like a. Excuse me, I can't really formalize the words, but it's like a small knickknack leather piece where you can drop like your keys and things like
Oh,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you mean.
Pieces,
I know
yeah.
what you mean.
Because I just like I had to get something.
Okay.
But yeah, they still have the market there. The
Okay.
school is great. The school was a
Market was
really cool experience.
amazing.
Yeah, it's a
Market
great
was,
experience.
yeah, I have a market story for another day.
Yeah. Nah, you gotta share it now, man.
Nah, 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 nah. This is
All
your
right.
time.
All right, cool. But
So,
yeah, I love going to the school, seeing all the heritage and the history. You get to things monogrammed there on the spot. That's always
hope
cool.
you got some gloves, son. They
Yeah,
got like 50 colors of gloves.
they have and that was another thing where I'm like, if I go on a leather piece, it's like you gotta really do it because
For
it's
real.
you gotta really do it. You gotta really do it. It's so many different types of leather that you use, so many applications. So yeah, that was super inspiring. Super inspiring.
All right.
Put
Whew.
it in thankful.
All right. I'm still going to give you not a strike, but something that maybe you knew about but didn't know about. I wasn't aware of it when I went, but I've been aware of it for at least the past 10 years now. And I could already sense based on time you weren't able to have this experience. Are you aware of the outlet mall that is north of Florence?
No, man. I know there's a lot of malls. Their outlets are really good outside. There's one in Milan too. I'm so upset I didn't go.
There's
Not
one less
upset
than an
because
hour
like
away.
everything, it's like on vacation. There's
No,
like,
I get it. I get it. I get it. I'm glad that you were aware.
but
I thought I
yeah,
was going to whiz one by you.
yeah, no,
All right, you
definitely.
made contact. Big
Yeah.
baseball guy. Yeah. Yeah, that it's supposed to be amazing,
Yeah,
and you would have lost your mind. Like
yeah, I would
you
have
would
lost.
have missed your train, your flight, anything. You would have just he's still there. You would have just it would have been a problem.
I'll just live at the mall. It'll be
Right, right. It would have been a problem. I want to have some notes here.
sure.
So first of all, I would be remiss because, like you said, sometimes I have to get things out of you. Let's keep it real, son. Your first day at Pitti Uomo,
Hmm.
your image was adorned on the street style page.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was
Oh
pretty cool.
yeah. Oh
That
yeah.
was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I forgot
That
about that, Reg.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
oh, he
cool.
just so yeah. I would have thought that just
Yeah,
happened. Yeah. Care to share the story?
that did happen. Yeah, like honestly, first day I walked in, as soon as I walked in, the photographer was like, "Hey, you stop," basically, and just took some pictures. It was like right on the way of like getting into the actual pavilion area. Flipped it up real quick, and he was like, "Yeah, man, your stuff's gonna be on the webpage." And I'm like, "He's just talking," and lo and behold, I go back and look at it like a day or two later. It was like, "Oh yeah, he did say he would post it. Let me see if I can find it." And it was there. So that was pretty cool, man. That's like a really just cherry on top moment. Um, Bucket list trip, first time going, being able to make it on the street style page is like it's kind of insane, man. Because I used to like study those images like seasonally, man. Every time they would drop, I would study those or go back and try to find the old ones and just study the style, man. Just looking at how these guys would carry themselves, how they would dress. Because that's like the creme de la creme, man. It's like the best of the best. As far as European style, again, most of the attendees are predominantly like living in Europe somewhere. So just to be able to go was great, and to be able to be photographed, trying to hang in there with the big guns, man. That was a dope thing, dope experience. Hopefully, I can get it to go again next year.
Yeah, maybe you run a streak, bro.
Yeah,
Maybe it'll
let's see how
happen
long we
again.
get the streak going.
So you had a cool M65 Vietnam jacket. That was the artwork on the back.
Hmm. Yeah.
So first of all, where did you cop that?
Oh, of course. I'll let you
And,
guess, man. I think you know where I got
all right. Well, yeah, I figured. Okay. So we know where you copped it.
it. Yeah.
What kind of impact? Because here we are, we're talking about thousands of people.
Hmm.
Half the people are in the trade show, half of the people are hangers on, in my opinion. But
Hmm.
do what you want to do. Spend your money how you want to spend it.
Yeah.
Did people holler at you pertaining to that jacket? Because I mean, when I saw it, I went, "Whoa,
Yeah.
where do
No,
you
that
get
was
that
a dope
jacket? That
piece. You
jacket
know what's
is
funny, man? I actually didn't even wear that. That was an extra fit. That was a throwaway. So I didn't even wear that to Pity. I wore that the day after Pity because I was there for an extra day.
oh, all right,
So I was suited up like most days, and then I was like, oh, let me just say this as just a little gimme, give him a little taste. You know what I mean? Just to get a little
take
fit
that, take
off,
that, take that."
get a little fit off. But yeah, I saw that in Japan, and I was like, oh yeah, I gotta wear this to Italy.
That is, I
This
got
is
to
a
tell you,
heater.
that is,
This is a heater. But
yeah,
yeah, even walking around the city, like people were definitely stopping me about that coat. This is a really unique piece. Um,
yeah.
do not make clothes like that anymore.
No,
Uh, I think even I was at this one networking event because there's this thing at Pitti. Oh, what is the name of that restaurant? There's a restaurant that everybody goes to at the end of every night, and
mm,
like the Pitti guys, they just take over every night faithfully. And so some like couple that was there like on I think they were like on their honeymoon or something like that. Stopped me because they recognized me from there, and like, oh man, you look great. Like I love this coat. I recognize you from the other day. Da da da. They from America, cool people. So yeah, that coat's definitely a head turner. Definitely a head turner. One of my favorite vintage pieces for sure.
would you recommend going to really your Florence trip was about a trade show, right?
Hmm.
And then the extra was doing some shopping. So would you recommend the fashion curious, the fashion confident, maybe the fashion unconfident, or the fashion confused, as I
Yeah,
like to say?
that's a good
Would you
piece.
would you rec- would you recommend a trip to Florence and have Pitti Uomo be the first trip?
For the
And would you recommend them to actually buy a ticket for the trade show versus
so
hanging out?
the thing
Why don't
with
you
the
give
trade
me
show is kind of difficult because again, as it's gotten more popular, they're a lot more tough on admittance. So you have to be able to show some proof of business, like the purpose of being there to do business at the trade show. So I wouldn't sell them, on that more so unless you really need to do business there. However, I'm sorry, Florence is a great city to visit. Like, there's a lot of people there on honeymoon, and I think like even if you're not into fashion, like if you just want to go to a nice, cool city that's super walkable, Florence is amazingly very walkable. Um, Everything like up north of the river, you can kind of just walk around and get to everything. So it's a great city to just sightsee. So for that, even if you're the fashion, you know, you said it much better. I don't
the
want to say.
fashion confused?
Yeah, fashion confused. I was going to say a different word. That's a lot more democratic. Yeah, the fashion confused. I think they still would enjoy themselves there, definitely. And I think that people who are definitely more fashionably inclined would enjoy Florence, even if it's not for pity. I think Florence is a good city. I would give it a yes for both.
All right, we're entering the lightning round.
All right.
Rashad, why is fashion important?
The expression, man. The expression, simply as put, it's cliche, but it really resonates with me. Being able to express yourself through clothing, because you're gonna do it whether you choose to intentionally or not. Being able to express yourself non-verbally in the way that you intend to is something that I just enjoy to do on a daily basis.
What difference has fashion made in your life?
Big difference. It's definitely giving me a compass professionally with it being a career. Um, and also, I've learned a lot about myself through fashion because style, specifically within the realm of fashion, is a journey, and it's a journey of self exploration and how you want to identify and how you want people to identify you. And I've learned a lot about myself through fashion. I know it sounds cliche, but every time somebody says it, I can resonate with it because I've seen it in my own life. Just the habits you want to have, the people you want to be associated with. I made a lot of friends just through fashion and aesthetic and taste and liking common things. So that's always cool. So yeah, I've learned a lot.
What's the top fashion tip you would give the everyday man so he could look his best?
Don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to be the best version of yourself. The latter of the two. Don't be afraid to be the best version of yourself. That would be the advice I give because I think that's the best way to find your own unique style, whether you do it independently or with a extremely experienced gentleman like yourself. When you embrace, your true self and are able to highlight that in the clones that you adorn your body with, you can find a beautiful thing. So be the best version of yourself.
What does the term always be fly mean to you?
Um, Same answer. I think I said this last time. Man, just always be on, have it on, be on and have it on. You gotta be on first though. You gotta be on. You gotta whether you're preparing yourself mentally or physically before you go out. You gotta be on. You gotta be there, and then you gotta have it because it's in you, not on.
All right. Well, I know you have an appointment, Rashad. Thank you so much for the time.
Yeah, man.
It's cool to see you again.
The pleasure's mine, man. Appreciate you, man. Hopefully we can line it up. I know we will. I'm gonna speak it into existence. So I'm looking forward to the next one. If you'd like to have me, I'm always welcome to come back, man. It's been a pleasure as always.
We'll make that happen.
Solid. Catch you guys next time.
Peace.